and good morning to Doctor. I'm Ling Wei Fan from VNA Year 3 Sem 2. Today, I'm very appreciative and grateful because I have this opportunity to present about my proposal regarding to final year project 1. My FYP title is a cooperative study of using Moringa oleifera seed in powder and solution form to reduce the turbidity of the kitchen wastewater. My content title have introduction, problem statement, objective, scope of study, literature review, research methodology, and conclusion and expected result, and I will going to present one by one. In introduction part, there are several key elements have been pointed out. First is kitchen wastewater, which refers to one of the grey water, which has getting many attention from the society due to its organic contaminant and oil and grease from human domestic activity such as cooking, washing plate, and cleaning. Second is flocculation process, which also involved in the wastewater treatment process. Third is natural coagulant, which become popular to replace synthetic coagulant to treat wastewater due to its property. Last is I use Moringa oleifera seed as my natural coagulant in powder and solution form to study and compare the removal efficiency of turbidity for the kitchen wastewater. In problem statement, there are three elements have been highlighted. First, wastewater, second, kitchen wastewater, and third is synthetic coagulant. Wastewater is caused by human activities such as agricultural activity, industrial activity, and domestic activity. Second, kitchen wastewater. If the kitchen wastewater does not manage properly, this effluent, which mainly contains fat, oil, and grease (FOG), can flow into the sewerage system and cause the sanitary sewer overflow, which can deteriorate the environment and harm the human health. And last is synthetic coagulant, which can affect and cause injuries to human health. Next, there are three objectives in my final year project. First, to categorize the natural coagulant through various physical and chemical analytical methods in order to check the suitability and potential of the Moringa oleifera seed as a natural coagulant to reduce the turbidity of the kitchen wastewater. Second, to compare the action of powder and solution form of Moringa oleifera seed. Last is to study the influence of the various operational parameters on the performance of the Moringa oleifera seed in powder and solution form. In literature review, first I want to mention and highlight about the kitchen wastewater. Kitchen wastewater is one type of effluent from domestic wastewater, which mainly comes from the kitchen through cleaning dishes, cooking, and sinking. This kitchen wastewater can be treated depending on its quality and composition. It may have a low degree of pollution, rapidly biodegradable organic component, and low content of pathogens. Basically, there are four types of wastewater treatment which involve pre-treatment, primary, secondary, and tertiary treatment in Malaysia. To treat the kitchen wastewater, the flocculation process, which one of the primary treatment process in the primary treatment is involved in the wastewater treatment process. Coagulation is the process of destabilizing colloid by adding chemical to neutralize negative charges, while the flocculation process entails the aggregation of destabilized particles into giant flocs. The figure shows the coagulation-flocculation process in wastewater treatment. From the figure, after the coagulant is added, the destabilizing particle process occurs, and the giant floc happens under the flocculation process. Next, the natural coagulant which involves Moringa oleifera seed is used in the research. Why I use Moringa oleifera seed? This is because Moringa oleifera seed have a high concentration of water-soluble molecule, allowing them to be used as a principal coagulant in wastewater treatment. Second, protein and carb are among the substances that might efficiently lower the concentration of suspended particle and organic material. And last, Moringa oleifera seed can be coagulant, a thickening and antibacterial agent in water treatment to provide the best solution to solve the wastewater issue. There are three factors which can affect the coagulation and flocculation process. First, coagulate dosage. Second, temperature, and last, mixing speed. The coagulant process can be affected the coagulant and flocculation process because inadequate amount or overdoing will result in poor flocculation performance. If the temperature is high or low in water, it can cause the chemical property of water such as reaction rate, the solubility of solid and liquid, and pH change. For the missing speed, here include rapid missing and slow missing in coagulation process. This missing speed is also can affect the coagulation and flocculation process since it aims to achieve the excellent coagulations. There are several issues arising from literature review. First, the wastewater treatment regarding kitchen waste mixed without proper treatment because the kitchen wastewater is treated as domestic wastewater. There are a lot of the researchers treat the kitchen wastewater as one of the example of domestic wastewater, and they did not pointed out the kitchen wastewater for their research. So it is quite difficult for me to find the information regarding to kitchen wastewater also. Second, the way to treat the kitchen wastewater in more effective and environmental friendly still considerably less. The figures show the research methodology. First is identification of sampling location and sampling depth of Moringa oleifera seed. Second is the preparation of Moringa as natural coagulant. Third is conducting for jar test experiment, which involve the coagulation process and flocculation process. In coagulation process, the parameter involve coagulation of Moringa oleifera seed in powder and solution form. Second, coagulation process. Third, stirring speed, and last is the sampling time. And next is data and result analysis, which involve pH value, turbidity, chemical oxygen demand, and also total suspended solid. And last is to determination of Moringa oleifera powder and solution efficiency to remove the turbidity of kitchen wastewater. For preparation of the coagulant Moringa oleifera seed, I have prepared a video, a short and quick video.
Took off the Moringa oleifera seed from the Moringa oleifera plant and put into a metal tray. Moringa oleifera seed were dried in the sun for a few days to make them easier to detach from the cells and more durable for experimental purposes. The dry Moringa oleifera seed after a few days will form. The cells of the dry Moringa oleifera seed were taken off. The dry Moringa oleifera seed were placed into the polythene sample bag. The seeds was then sealed in polythene sample bags to prevent contamination.
Next, the steps to conduct the experiment are shown. First, there are 250 ml of kitchen wastewater were poured into the beakers respectively. Second, the pH value of the kitchen wastewater were measured before the experiment start, with ether by using 1 m hydrochloric acid and 1 m sodium hydroxide. Next, we're going to start to conduct the jar test. The wastewater was stirred at 150 rpm for 2 minutes before the coagulant added into it. Then, after 2 minutes, the coagulant in powder form was added and stirred again at 150 rpm for 3 minutes, rapid mixing. Then, the mixing speed was adjusted to 20 rpm and it was stirred for 50 minutes, which considered as slow mixing. After that, the beaker were placed to a flat surface so that the float can settle down at the bottom of the beaker. The beaker were left there for 15 minutes to let the float have enough time to complete settlement. The steps in front were repeated by replacing the Moringa oleifera in powder form with the Moringa oleifera in solution form just by mixing the Moringa oleifera powder with the distilled water. Data and reading for turbidity, TSS, and COD before and after the process were analyzed for the kitchen wastewater by using the Moringa oleifera seed in powder and solution form. There are 3 apparatus and instruments we're going to use. First is HQ440D multi-parameter to get pH value. Second, HSCHDR6000 spectrophotometer to get the value of total suspended solid and chemical oxygen demand. And last one is TL2300 turbidity meter to check the turbidity of the wastewater. The study parameter and ranges is shown in the table, which include dosage of natural coagulant, stirring speed, and settling time. We adjust the range of dosage of natural coagulant from 1 to 3, stirring speed from 20 to 60, settling time from 5 to 25 minutes. Next, we also apply the analytical method by using the TSS removal and COD removal in order to calculate the efficiency of the Moringa oleifera seed in order to reduce the turbidity of the kitchen wastewater. As conclusion and expected result, the main goal of the research is to treat the kitchen wastewater in the residential area at Mutiara Rini Homestay, Skudai, Johor by using the natural coagulant Moringa oleifera seed. My expected result is the wastewater treatment process to treat the kitchen wastewater in Mutiara Rini Homestay, Skudai, Johor is expected to be conducted successfully using a Moringa oleifera. The desired result is to determine the best form of Moringa oleifera, whether in powder or solution form, so that the kitchen wastewater can be treated effectively and adequately. Last, the turbidity of the kitchen wastewater in Mutiara Rini Homestay, Skudai, Johor also expected to be reduced by replacing the synthetic coagulant with the natural coagulant in wastewater treatment process. That's all for my presentation. Thank you and thank you for listening.